In this video, I'm going to give you the ultimate guide to selling on Amazon as a merchant fulfilled seller. FBM is one of the best strategies I see used by Amazon sellers who grow super fast. And so in this video, I'm going to get into the advantages of using FBM over FBA, how to prep FBM products, how to find products that are going to sell super well as FBM products, and a lot of the other nitty-gritty details that you need to know before you start selling FBM on Amazon. So I want to start out by explaining the difference between Amazon FBA and FBM. I'm sure you've probably heard of FBA before, and basically what you're doing with FBA is you're shipping directly to Amazon's warehouse. Typically it's about 30 cents a pound, so you're getting really cheap shipping and you're going to ship it off all in bulk. Whereas with Fulfilled by Merchant or FBM, you're basically shipping each individual sale out to the customers as they come in. With FBA, they're going to do that for you. And so the pros of using FBM are going to be faster cash flow. You're not going to have to wait for items to check in at the Amazon warehouse. Oftentimes you can buy an item, list it, and sell it all in the same day with FBM. You also have greater control of the product, and that's something that a lot of sellers are massively underestimating. So let's say you want to list your products on the 1-pack, the 2-pack, the 3-pack, the 6-pack listing. You could be listed on a ton of different listings all at once and optimize the sales for which one's going to make you the most profit. Whereas with FBA, you have to commit to a certain type of product. And especially with high volume products, you'll see products where there's multiple listings, and during times where that certain item is selling really fast, one listing might be the exact same, but it's way more profitable. So having the ability to switch between listings is super, super valuable. So for those reasons, FBM is typically used by sellers who don't have a lot of capital. They're willing to work hard. They're willing to do the effort of shipping out each individual order because it's going to make you grow way faster as an Amazon seller. The pros of FBA, on the other hand, is the ability to do it all at once. So you're not going to have to be prepping orders every single day. It's a lot more scalable to be an FBA seller. You can definitely scale your business massively with FBM, but if you get to the point where you're doing 200, 300 packages a day, you're really going to be feeling that. Whereas with FBA, it's just as simple as shipping off a bunch of boxes or a pallet a week or so. With Amazon FBA, you're also going to get cheaper shipping rates because you're doing it in bulk. Like I said, it's about 30 cents a pound versus the merchant fulfillment route. You're going to be paying somewhat discounted, but still more expensive USPS, UPS shipping rates. And then probably the biggest advantage of FBA versus FBM is that as an FBA seller, you'll be able to hog sales over the seller who is FBM, even if you guys are the exact same price, because Amazon can verify that the customer is actually going to get a good quality customer experience service. They're going to get that 2-day prime shipping. They're going to have Amazon's customer service instead of your customer service that they might not be as confident in. So on a bunch of Amazon listings, you'll see that the FBA sellers are hogging a bunch of sales over the FBM sellers. And so for you guys who are wanting to source FBM specific products, I'm going to show you later on in this video how to actually source those products. So now that we've talked about FBA versus FBM, I want to go ahead and jump into the computer here, and we're going to break down how to actually start listing products, how to find good FBM products. But before we do that, if you guys want even more free resources to learn how to sell on Amazon, directly beneath me is the Amazon Launchpad 2.0, which is over 3 hours of content to help you get set up on Amazon. It comes with a community of over 50,000 sellers you can start networking with, a spreadsheet with a bunch of auto-ungating ASINs, and a bunch more. It's all completely free. Go ahead and check it out. I tried to make it a no-brainer for you, so go ahead and check that out. Let's jump into the computer. So just in case you've never listed a product on Amazon before, you can skip ahead if you've already listed a product on Amazon before. I'm going to just quickly show you the process if you've never listed a product before. Let's say you found this Lego set right here. It really doesn't matter what the product is. You're just going to take the UPC on the product, or you can punch in the title into the Amazon Seller Central here. This is just on the add a product page within Seller Central. So we've got the product right here. We've got the ASIN. And so we're going to go ahead and say that we want to sell this product in new condition. And then once we do that, it's going to ask us for some pretty basic information about this product. It's going to ask us how much we have. For example, I'm just going to say 0 here so I don't sell this product on accident. I don't actually have it. You can also input a data rich SKU. That's something I would really recommend. So let's say you bought this product from Walmart. You paid, I don't know, let's say $60 for it. And then you bought it on just October 10th, 2023. That could be your SKU, right? You can leave the SKU up to a default. It'll set something as a random SKU for you. I like using data rich SKUs though, so I would really recommend doing that. You can go in here and change your price as well. So right now it looks like this item is selling for like $200 on Amazon. We probably want to go in here and list it for $250. We can come back later and reprice the item depending on how the prices are moving, but you're typically going to want to set this price right here to match the buy box on Amazon. So when you open up the listing, it says add to cart. Typically you want to match that price to make some decent sales. Under condition down here, we're going to go ahead and press new because we're typically only going to be selling new products. If you want to do books and stuff like that, you might be going in here and saying used from time to time. And then where it differs from doing FBA is we're just going to go ahead in here and say, I will ship this item myself. And then we're going to go ahead and pick our shipping template. And I'll show you guys how to set up a specific shipping template down in here. This is the default template that I like to use. I'll show you the rules that I specifically use so that you guys can get your products out on time and make sure you're making money after it's all said and done, right? And then the other thing you can do, just go ahead and opt it into the United States marketplace or wherever you're shipping out of. And then then we're just going to go ahead and press save and finish in the bottom right corner. So now that you know how to make a listing, let's go ahead and talk about setting that shipping template like we were talking about just now. And basically what this is going to do here is decide how fast that we can get the products out to customers and the prices we're going to charge to customers for different speeds. And so we're going to go in here. This is just under your shipping template in the top bar of Amazon Seller. If you're not sure where to get to navigate to any of these screens I'm talking about, just go ahead and search shipping settings up in the top. And then you're just going to be looking under the shipping templates tab right here. It should be pretty easy to find. And then once we go down here, I'm going to go ahead and go to the migrated template. This is set as my default right now. So you're probably going to want to edit your default as your first shipping template. Then we're going to go ahead and press edit template. So up here at the top, if you want to give your templates different names, you can definitely do that. I'm just going to leave it on the default here. Another thing up here at the top that I would recommend for those of you guys who are willing to hustle and you're willing to actually make it happen is to set your handling time settings to same day handling. And this is going to commit you to being able to ship your products out the same day that the product sells. I believe the cutoff is before 2 p.m. So you're not going to be expected to ship your products out at 11:58 if they order at 11:50. But same day handling time is a great way to win sales over FBA sellers. We're talking about the difference, how FBA sellers are going to make more sales than FBM. This is one great way to make Amazon like your listing a little bit more if you're willing to go and put in a little bit of hustle. This is something you're definitely going to want to throw on during the heat of Q4 when you're shipping products out every single day. You've got orders coming in. You might as well have it on same day handling and get a little boost to your sales. So the next thing I want to show you down here is setting regions within your shipping settings. So right here, you can see I've got a big region with a bunch of these states thrown in. If you want to change which states are actually included in certain settings, you can go in here, click edit, and it's going to give you a big drop down box. And so my settings right here are set for me shipping out of the center of the country. You can see I was shipping out of Arkansas for the majority of the merchant fulfillment that I've done. And so you're going to want to go into your shipping template and set it to states that you can actually reach. So right here, I've told Amazon that within 2 to 4 days, plus my handling time, I can get a package to a customer in any one of these states. So this should be pretty reasonable for those of you guys shipping out of the middle of the country. If you're not sure how far away is reasonable, a good resource I want to show you guys here is the Pirate Ship Zone Map. And you can go ahead and pick where you are. So let's say you're shipping out of Southern California. You can see about how many days away each one of these states are. So you're probably going to want to set some of those states as a slower shipping speed. So for me, shipping out of the dead center of the country, these were the areas that were red for me when I go ahead and click that map. So I set it to 5 to 8 days. Everything else though was 2 to 4 days. So you might have less states included in your 2 to 4 day shipping time compared to me if you're shipping out of one of the coasts. Hopefully that makes sense. You can also go in here and change your shipping fee per order or per pound. I would really recommend setting free shipping on for your standard shipping. So if they're ordering by 11 a.m., this is kind of the standard shipping that they're going to get. You can see I do have extra charges on here for some states. So like Hawaii and Alaska, I want to make a little bit of extra money. If I'm going to ship to any of these kind of harder to reach destinations, I need a lot of time and we want to make sure we're getting a good boost on that per order sale. But for the most part, you want to have your cheapest shipping option as free shipping. It's psychological. It's going to boost your sales and you can just raise the price of your item to counteract whatever you were going to pay in shipping. So depending on where you are in the country, you can go ahead and pause this video. You can copy this, tweak it around depending on where you are in the country. The next thing I want to show you here is expedited shipping. So this is going to be super useful during Q4 when people are needing their products super quickly. I like to go in here and set, again, those states that were pretty far away for me to reach, those states that were kind of on the red side, this zone 8 on the map down here. I set those as my 2 to 4 day transit time. And then everything else we said we can reach in 1 to 3 days. But there is going to be an additional $11 per order, an extra $1 a pound, and then up here $13 an order and $2 a pound to ship to those further away states. I know some people get a lot more aggressive with this. You guys can let me know in the comments how your templates differ from this if you're already crushing it with merchant fulfillment. And then down here on the 2-day delivery, you want to make sure this 2-day delivery down here is pretty expensive. So we've got it set to $17 an order, $10 a pound. And we actually have had a couple orders be placed with this shipping speed down here, which seems insane for somebody to pay, $20+ for shipping, but they need it in a pinch. They're trying to get presents under the tree for Christmas. We have to be able to go in here, charge for that to get the products out to the customers super quickly. So after you save all of those settings, when you go and actually list those products, when you go back over to the product we just listed, you can just go ahead and select that migrated template or whatever you end up naming your default template. So hopefully that helps you get your settings all set up within the shipping template. So we're going to break down packaging up these orders, how to know when you have orders, and the actual supplies I'd recommend you guys grab. So the main thing you want to look for when you're searching for products to merchant fulfill is going to be looking out for the buy box statistics here. So I went ahead and pulled out this as an example of something that you're not going to be able to merchant fulfill. And the reason for that is when we go in here to data, buy box statistics, we can see here that 99% of the sales on this listing over the last 30 days, we can zoom out to 90 days. We can even see the whole history. The last year of this item, 92% of those sales have gone to Amazon. And on the FBA column down here, you can see that even when it didn't go to Amazon, it mostly went to other FBA sellers. So if you jump into the data buy box statistics on Keepa, this tool tool is $20 a month, along with SellerAmp. Those are like the two essential tools that you need to sell on Amazon. If the buy box statistics is telling you that FBA sellers are consistently holding it, that's going to be something you need to avoid. Another way you can do this is on the price history graph. As you're mousing over it, on the top, it's going to show you who has the buy box. So when you see a ton of orange like this, or if we go into a listing and see a bunch of FBA orange, we know to avoid it. Anytime we see this blue right there, we can see a little speck of blue where merchant fulfilled sellers were actually making sales on this listing. So when you compare that to a listing like these shoes right here, as we're mousing over the Keepa chart, we can see a ton of blue, almost not any FBA at all. We see a little bit right there. I saw a little bit of orange, a couple dots up there at the top. That's when third-party FBA sellers are on this listing. But for the majority of the sales on this listing, it's pretty much all blue. And we can reinforce that by going data, buy box statistics, and then over the last 30 days, it looks like 25% of the sales went to this seller right here who was not an FBA seller. And we actually have to go all the way down to this guy who had 4% of the sales with an FBA listing to see anyone who was FBA making sales on this listing. So as we're going into the season where you might want to start doing more merchant fulfillment, look out for the buy box statistics on these listings here and see if the buy box was rotating a lot to FBM sellers. If it's being hogged by FBA sellers, you probably want to avoid that product. And one quick sourcing tip I'll mention for you guys, if you're trying to actually go and source new products that you can sell as an FBM seller, something that's going to be super valuable is SellerAmp reverse sourcing. If you already sell on Amazon, I'm sure you're very familiar with, you've probably found a ton of products with this already, but just in case you're not, the basic gist is that we're just going into a listing like this. We already know that merchant fulfilled sellers are loving this listing, and so it's reasonable that some of the other products that they're selling are also going to be good for merchant fulfillment, right? So I went ahead and went to the SellerAmp offers tab down here, and I opened up this storefront right here. And so when we're looking through this guy's storefront now, we can see the actual Keepa chart. We can see the products that he's actually selling over here. So in this case, it looks like he's just selling a bunch of Nike shoes, all that kind of stuff. And so if you say, let's say we find a Nike.com sale or a Jordan sale, I've seen a lot of Jordans over here as well. You can actually just compare the products in this guy's storefront to the sales that you're already finding. And maybe you can find a little bit of overlap where we might be able to find some profitable products. And if you specifically start from a product that you know people are doing merchant fulfillment on, like this product right here, you're going to be a lot more likely to find those products of the sellers who are going super deep into merchant fulfillment and they're not having any trouble making sales on a lot of these listings. So definitely take advantage of reverse sourcing to find those products. I'll leave a link up here for an actual sourcing video. I want to keep this mostly focused on shipping products out, kind of just all things FBM for you guys. If you need to learn how to source, again, I'll drop that up there. But let's go ahead and actually talk about what happens after you've sourced an item, you've listed it FBM, and then you've made a sale. So we should have all the knowledge that you need to get there. And I actually have a pending order on my Seller Central account over here that I want to show you guys as an example, right? So we can see here on Seller Central, it's saying actions. We have one order to ship. You might also see a slightly different layout of Seller Central. If you're seeing this in the future, it probably looks different. They're always tweaking this. So just look for a little badge. Sometimes it'll show up as one of these tiles that says that you have an order to ship. And you should also get an email when you have an order to ship. It should be pretty hard to miss when something did actually sell. But we're just going to go in here and we're going to go ahead and press ship your orders. So that's going to take us to the manage orders tab. And then we're going to go over here and select buy shipping. So that's going to take you to a page that looks like this. And now we're going to go ahead and start entering in the actual information for shipping these products. So under packaging here, we're going to go ahead and add some dimensions. So you're going to go ahead and have some boxes, some poly bags, all that kind of stuff on hand. I'll show you the specific supplies here in a minute, but this is just a random book that we sold. So I'm going to go ahead and punch in the length of our item here. It's going to be 12 inches. The width is going to be 9 inches and then 2 inches for our height. This is a pretty simple item to ship. Just like I said, it's just a pretty simple book. So we've got our dimensions in there, and this is going to be the dimensions of the box that you end up putting in or the poly bag that you ended up putting it in, not the item itself. So this is going to be communicated with whoever we end up buying the shipping through. So right here, we also have the weight of the product. This is just a smaller book. So we're going to go with 1 pound here. And then once we plug in that information, it's going to go ahead and start giving us our options in terms of how we can ship this product out. So you can see we have a ton of different options. You could do priority overnight. You'd really be overachieving if you did that. You're not going to make any money. It's going to filter this though by the cheapest option. So for me, USPS bound printed matter is going to be the cheapest. For most of you guys who are watching this video, you're probably going to be doing some arbitrage, some wholesale type products. So that's going to be a lot of USPS parcel select, a lot of UPS ground, really just the cheapest option that is going to get the item to the customer on time. You're going to go ahead and go up here to print label orientation. Just change this to however your printer is oriented. If you have a label printer, it's going to look like that. If you have a regular printer, it's going to be these half sheet labels like that. And again, I'll show you the specifics on what you need there. And then it's also a good idea to declare a value, especially if your item is expensive. This is going to increase the price of your shipping, but it's going to add extra insurance. I like to do it if the item is worth more than $100. So I wouldn't do it on this book. I don't want to increase the price of my shipping. And then once we do that, we're just going to go ahead and press buy shipping down here in the bottom right corner. And that's going to give us our PDF to print out as our label. So that's going to be the majority of how you're going to ship your products, I just want to show you a quick trick here that took me way too long. I was manually inputting the dimensions and weights and everything for each product, even if it was the exact same thing, for way too long. So if you're starting to get a bunch of merchant fulfilled orders, which awesome if you are, go ahead and go in here and just start clicking this checkbox right here. It's going to show you all the orders. It's going to select all the orders that have come in recently. You can also just click different options, and then you can go ahead and buy your shipping in bulk. So on this screen right here, I still only have that one order. If you had 10 orders, 25 orders, they'd all show up right here. And the nice thing about this is that if you have a certain ASIN or SKU, it's going to store the weight and packaging information from the last time you shipped that SKU out. So in this case, I've never shipped out this SKU. So again, it's still defaulting to wanting me to enter in new information. I can still do that here. It's going to guess which shipping service I want to use based on the one that gets it to the customer on time and is the cheapest. And so once you start getting a ton of merchant fulfilled orders, you can just go in here, get that done for all of them. It's going to give you a big list. It's going to show you what each one of them charged you. And you can just pick that label and orientation by shipping and you'll be good to go. It's going to print out all those labels all at once. So if you start getting a bunch of orders, use this bulk feature here. It took me way too long. I was doing like 50 or 100 merchant fulfilled orders a day a year or two ago, and I did not know about that. So don't make that mistake I did. So as far as buying supplies for your merchant fulfilled operations here, I want to show you how to get some free supplies. The best ways to save money on your supplies. I want to start with Uline here. And the reason that I like buying from Uline is their prices are pretty competitive. If you can get a local box supplier, that's always going to be better, but their prices are pretty decent on stuff like boxes. And especially when you're in the thick of Q4, you're really buying some great inventory. Something that I like doing is going in to SellerAmp here, and where it shows me the actual dimensions of the product, I'm going to actually just go over here to Uline and buy the box that's the perfect size for this product. So in this case, it's 5.5, 10.3, 3.7. So I'm just going to go up an inch on all that. So I'm going to buy a 6 by 11 by 4 box. So I can go over here into Uline and I'm going to do 11 by 6 by 4 search, and that's going to find the perfect size boxes for my item right there. So it looks like 11 6 by 4 right there. Seems like we can get some of these boxes for anywhere from 87 to 61 cents a box, depending on how many of this product that you just bought. So it's a good idea to keep some like standard size boxes in inventory, but I also really like buying the amount of boxes that you need and the perfect size box that you need for these FBM products as you're buying them. So you can do that through Uline. They do charge for shipping, but it'll typically come within a day or two. It's crazy fast. It'll be great for you guys who need to keep things super fast during Q4 when things are selling super quickly. Another thing you can take advantage of is using a UPS account. You should have a UPS account because you're going to be able to schedule pickups for all these packages. Same with USPS. Don't drive your packages out to the post office to UPS every single day. You can schedule a pickup through a UPS account, through a USPS account, and through that same USPS account, you can get some free shipping supplies. So the most useful of that is getting free shipping labels. So those half sheet labels I was showing you guys, you can actually get those for free through UPS here. Again, you just need to have an account. You can go through the backend portal and you can just order those free shipping supplies. You can also buy those shipping labels from Amazon if you want, but to use those shipping labels, you're going to probably want a label printer like this. You can see a Rollo is kind of the most popular one. You don't have to have this label printer here. It's faster, but for a while I was using these half sheet labels like these. I was printing these on a standard printer and they're really cheap. You can see we can get 200 of them for $9. If you go and get them in even bigger bulk packages, they get even cheaper. So the cost is really not much to worry about on these labels. If you do want to go the printer route, I would go for these. You're also going to want to grab something like this shipping scale right here. You probably already have one of these for your FBA shipments, especially if you're already an Amazon seller, but you do need a scale to actually weigh out your products and make sure you have the correct shipping weights and everything. And then you're also going to want to grab some poly mailers on top of the boxes. So you can just go ahead and throw the hoodie or whatever it is in this poly bag. You're going to measure out however the dimensions end up there, punch it into Seller Central like we were doing, and it's going to be way cheaper of an option rather than using boxes. Can save you $1 or so a unit. And then another thing I wanted to mention, as you guys are buying shipping, if you're ever shipping anything super heavy, I tend to find Pirate Ship can have cheaper rates, and they're using USPS cubic shipping. And Pirate Ship is free to use. I don't use it a ton because your packages are not going to be as insured as they are when you're buying shipping through Amazon. So I like to do this as kind of a last resort if my shipping is really expensive on Amazon. But if you're ever shipping out anything heavy, try using Pirate Ship. You're probably going to be able to find some cheaper shipping rates than what you might get through Amazon's partnered rates. And as another thing I'll just mention here, if you guys are doing any hazmat or want to get into hazmat with FBA, Pirate Ship is also typically the cheapest way to buy your shipping to ship that hazmat inventory into Amazon FBA. So at this point, probably one of the last things you're wondering about is how returns work. I want to show you all the settings and stuff here, but I just want to quickly talk about how the actual process works with returns. So when you're doing Amazon FBA, they're shipping those back to the FBA warehouse and they're making the decision on whether or not it can be resold or not. As an FBM seller, it's going to get shipped directly back to you and you're going to be the one making that decision. Can I send this to another customer, or does it need to go to a third party like eBay, or should I just donate it, throw it away, that kind of thing. The other nice part about returns as an FBM seller is that you have a lot more control over the process. So it's not something that I typically do. It's just not worth the potential negative feedback that you might get, but you are able to charge a restocking fee of up to 20% on any of the products that you get shipped back to you in a condition that's worse than what you shipped it out. It's not something that I typically recommend, but I know that's a big concern for a lot of you sellers. So you can look into what's called a restocking fee if you are concerned about it. You do want to go that route. In my opinion, as I've been selling on Amazon for years and years at this point, the downside to a negative feedback is so much more than the $10 to $20 you'd be able to get back from them. You may end up having to submit some documents, all that kind of stuff. So in my opinion, it's always better to just go source more inventory, make more profit that way. If you want to charge a restocking fee, if it comes back in egregiously different shape, you can go down that rabbit hole if you want to. But within the back end of your return settings, again, if you want to set these up, just search return settings on your Seller Central. This is where you can set up your different settings, especially depending on different marketplaces, if you sell on different marketplaces. So another thing you can set in here is an automatic return list resolution. So if you're selling a bunch of a certain product, something went wrong with it, you don't want to worry about returns on super cheap items, you can go and set that up in here. So we can do a return list resolution. So let's say, for example, you're shipping out a bunch of books, and if the return reason was that you sent the wrong item, you picked out the wrong book, you're selling it in the USA marketplace, we're going to go ahead and add all that on there. And then if the item's price is below $10, you probably wouldn't want to do this for an expensive book, but if it's like an $8 book, you know you sent them the wrong book, and it's just going to automatically give them a return list resolution. You can go ahead and send them a new book, and this will keep your customers happy. I can see this being useful if you know you messed up on a certain product here. And so we can just go ahead and press save on that. We got to give it a name real quick. So we can say book wrong item. It was under $10. So we can go ahead and save that. So now anytime you have a customer request a return for this reason in this category between $0 to $10, it'll automatically resolve that return for them and give them a refund. This is also the section where you'll be able to manage those return addresses. So if you're going to ship back to a prep center instead of you can change that address here. And then under your return program settings, you can also choose if you want to offer free returns or no free returns. You're typically going to end up paying for the shipping label anyway. It's a customer's marketplace on Amazon. Returns are a necessary evil. It's part of why so many people shop on Amazon. So you can change how you want to approach returns on this screen here. So like I said in the beginning of this video, merchant fulfillment is probably the best way to increase your cash flow, to grow faster as an Amazon seller, just because of how much faster you can prove the concept. If you haven't already done merchant fulfillment, it is super worth it. It is one of the biggest reasons why I was able to grow my initial $1,500 in cash to now doing over $3 million on Amazon. Merchant fulfillment gives your business a ton of speed and a ton of control. And so hopefully this was a super useful guide as you're going out shipping out products to Amazon, trying to figure out what to actually merchant fulfill. If you guys did get value out of today's video, please feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. That really helps me out for sharing some value with you guys. Also, make sure you're signed up for our next free Amazon class. We show you how to source products, show you how to do everything you need to scale to $10,000 a month on Amazon. That's completely free. We do those live every couple weeks, and yes, it is actually live. They're super fun. Let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, anything like that. Feel free to drop those down below in the comment section. But I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and I will see you next time.